we're all set.
Rolling. This is exciting.
I know, it's so exciting to be here and meet you.
Well, I'm excited you guys are here. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You're more than welcome. This is my little cave that I live in.
It's wonderful.
On occasion, but
so cool to see. Yeah, I only ever see it in the YouTube video, so being here is kind of like surreal.
It's a lot bigger than YouTube.
It is, yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, the whole extra warehouse you have back there is huge.
It's kind of like Doctor Who's, the TARDIS. You go in, it's much bigger on the inside.
That's true.
I know.
So welcome. This is Meeting Halfway, and I'm Veronica, and this is Mark.
And we're joined by a very, very special guest, the creator of Fairly OddParents, Downey Phantom, Tough Puppy, and Bunsen is a Beast, Butch Hartman.
Hey, how's it going? Hi, everybody. How you doing? You have your official Cosmo pillow.
Yes, I got my Philip the Nickel.
Philip the Nickel. Now, that's a new. We ended up making that pillow. We made that like 2 or 3 years ago.
That recent?
Yeah, we made them and we sold a few online. Didn't sell a ton, but we sold some. And then these were made by Nickelodeon like 20 years ago. These are
wow.
I think they've been washed in 20 years ago. So
I noticed it was like the felt. The felt looks aged.
What I love though, they get the real cool flat look of them. Like the way
they actually get the 2D.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These are not easy characters to translate into three-dimensional objects, but they did a good job.
I feel like they did a good job in 3D with the video games.
SpongeBob
and
Nicktoons Unite.
Nicktoons Unite.
Yeah, that was good. And they also did a Fairly OddParents, Enter the Cleft. Is that?
Oh yeah.
They did that. They did Breaking the Rules, Shadow Showdown.
Oh, it was Breaking the Rules. I want to say Enter the Cleft. It was Breaking the Rules. So that was the one. That was pretty good for like 2003 technology.
Yeah, I played that
great.
as a kid. I loved it.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole Crimson Chin section in there. It was really cool.
Yes, I loved I loved all the wishes you could do based off the episodes. There was an episode or part where you go into like Timmy's dad's dream and stuff. I thought that was really fun. I loved.
And the Squirrely Scouts too. They had the Squirrely Scouts.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'll put my pillow down.
Sure, yeah.
You guys can keep yours. I'm just gonna put mine.
I want to hold mine.
Yeah, I want to hold mine too.
You want to hold on? Okay, I'll just. I'll look like a grown up over here. Well, it's nice to meet you both.
It's very nice to meet you as well.
And you're both artists as well, correct?
Yeah. We are, yes.
Nice.
We really much bonded over Fairly OddParents. That's like one of the biggest reasons why we were together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool.
First times I held his hand, we were watching the Schools Out musical.
No
just gushing about how much we loved it.
Oh, I'm so glad you like. I have not seen that episode in so long. You know, it's funny when you make an episode. And you guys will encounter this in your travels through animation or whatever. You work on an episode for months and months and months, and then you get it done, and then you just don't think about it anymore.
Yeah, you gotta work on the next one.
Yeah,
you gotta go to the next one. Yeah, so I haven't really watched Fairly OddParents episodes much since I finished making them.
I'm sure it's because it's taken months for the production of it.
Yeah,
and then
it's hard looking at it.
And you really watch like 1,000 times. Like, well, let's say something came out in 2003, 2004. Maybe I'll catch it on television or I'll have it on video or whatever. But I just don't sit and rewatch things all the time. I'm always trying to move on, to another thing or something.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed the Schools Out. What was your favorite song from the Schools Out music?
Oh my god!
I forget. It's the one with Floppy Bob.
Yes,
Timmy's trying to convince him not to sign the contract.
Oh. See that you done?
Yeah. Where's the fun?
Where's the fun? I love that song.
That's the rap of the Pixies in it too.
Great song.
Yeah.
Oh, such a great song.
Who were the artists who were the Pixies? I forget their name.
Oh, the voice actors?
The two rap artists.
It was Method Man and Redman.
There it is, yes.
And that was one recording that we did when we recorded those guys who did a phenomenal job as the Pixies doing the rap.
Yeah.
I couldn't be at that recording.
Really?
I couldn't be. I wrote the rap song. My buddy Steve Marmel and I wrote that song. And for some reason, I remember we had to go do it in New York. And I just couldn't go. I think my daughter had a school play I had to go see or something. And so Steve went to New York and recorded them.
Wow.
So I never got to meet them in person, but they were just great.
So did they really encapsulate the idea you had for that song?
Oh, totally. They even added to it because there's a part where it's like, we're pixies, strong like Bill Bixby.
Oh, yeah.
And they added that line in there, which was really cool.
Oh.
And I had to go to the storyboard artist, Dave Thomas. I'm like, Dave, they added this Bill Bixby line. Could you please add that in there? That's going to be such a cool line. So anyway, that's an addition they did.
You had mentioned not being able to go because of your daughter's play or something like that. Did you find it hard to balance juggling being like a father, like a husband, a showrunner all at once?
Oh yeah. I shouldn't say it was hard to balance. You have to know where your priorities lie.
Yeah.
Like, for me, my family is everything. My wife, my daughter. I have 2 daughters. My daughter, they're grown up now, and but I love my daughters so much. So for me, it was just I'm gonna go to work and do my show, and then I'm gonna come home and hang with my family. And that was pretty much my life. That still is my life, really.
Yeah.
I don't really have a huge ton of outside activities, really. But back in the day, I would get up really early. I would work out, read my Bible, go to work. I would work for like 10 hours, 12 hours at work. And then I would come home see the kids for a couple hours, and then I'd go back to work at home.
Everything, man.
Well, we had to, because like there was so much work to do. Because when I got this opportunity to have my own show, I couldn't let it fall by the wayside. I couldn't just, we had some amazing people working on my show, but there was a lot of things I could do personally. I'd go over storyboard notes myself. I'd go over timing myself.
We had noticed that. Every time I watch an episode, I'm always like, oh, directed by, storyboarded by, written by Butch Hartman. It did so much, yeah.
I did, and there's a lot of things I did that I didn't give myself credit for because I couldn't take credit for everything. But like,
have the credits be Butch Hartman.
Well, yeah, exactly. I know. But there was a lot of times there were some like someone would direct an episode, and I would fix a lot of it and things like that. But we had some incredible people, and you can never do it on your own. So a cartoon like that, you need tons of amazing, talented people.
Takes everyone.
Especially.
My gosh.
I think Danny Phantom and Fairly OddParents were running at the same time. So.
Well, that's an interesting story because we started Fairly OddParents. I did the first short in late '97. Actually, I sold the first short in '97, made it through '98, and then Fairly OddParents came on as a series in 2001. But before that, before the series came out, I had developed a show called Danny Phantom. And Albie Hecht, who was the head of Nickelodeon at the time, took me out to dinner because once Fairly OddParents premiered, it was doing really well. And he said, hey, I'd love you to do some more Fairly OddParents. And I went, great. It was typical. I shouldn't say typical. It was one of those Hollywood moments you hear about. He goes, do you have anything else?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, well, I have this other idea. You probably won't like it, though. It's about this kid named Danny Phantom. He fights ghosts. He's like, can you have the pilot done by March? And I went, sure.
And what date was this?
It was like September.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, well, not a lot of time, but...
We did, but the fact was he was basically saying, I'm going to pick this up. We're going to make it right now.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is he picked it up. We sold it to Nickelodeon, but Danny Phantom didn't premiere. This was 2001.
Didn't premiere to 2004, right?
It took 3 years to get it on TV. Because Nickelodeon had changed hands at that time. Some of the people in the upper echelons had moved on. Albie had moved on. And sometimes when new people come in, they will take your idea. If it's not their idea, or if they didn't pick it up, they sometimes move the idea aside. But fortunately, in this case, Danny Phantom had to keep going.
So one of our questions we had for you was, before Fairly OddParents got premiered, you had a show with Seth MacFarlane called Zoomates.
Yeah, that was a short cartoon we did. Yeah. Seth and I were pretty good buddies. We worked together on Johnny Bravo at Hanna-Barbera. Yeah. Seth was one of the funny, and still is, one of the funniest guys. But back then, he was like this wonder kid who came out of nowhere. And I worked with him at Hanna-Barbera. He was so funny. And we worked on Johnny Bravo Meets Adam West. We worked on the Johnny Bravo show. Yeah. So Seth and I were writers, became good pals. And then he went, and then Fred Seibert asked us both if we had short cartoons for Nickelodeon. I had Fairly OddParents. He had Zoomates. So he came up with a show called Zoomates and asked me to direct it for him. So I did. And then that was a lot of fun working on that. Mm-hmm. I got to design the characters and stuff based on his designs. And then he went and sold Family Guy to Fox. And then we really haven't stayed in touch much over the years, well, because I got married and he became a billionaire. So it's kind of hard to stay in touch.
So we both still got to lead pretty successful careers.
Absolutely.
Oh, listen, I've had such an amazing, fun ride doing what I love. And I know you guys are going to experience the same thing. You're going to get to do your own stuff. And some days, is that what you guys want to do? You want to do your own stuff someday?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool? But I encourage you, though, right now, to learn as much as you can while you're working with other people, because you don't want to get your own show right now. Because you don't know enough yet. You will, but don't get it now, and then you're gonna not do it right. You want to make sure
to learn on the way.
Yeah, get at least 10 years in the industry and know how things work, because most of the industry, it's not just talent, it's politics too. It's meeting people in relationship. I say this to people all the time. Get a good relationship with people that you work with, because those are the people that are going to ride up the ladder with you.
They're going to open opportunities.
Absolutely.
Networking.
Yeah, exactly. And every opportunity I've ever had came because I knew somebody. But once I got the opportunity, then the talent had to kick in and then the know-how and all that stuff. So build those relationships.
Yeah, I think coincidentally, one of our good friends, he just released a show on Adult Swim called Smiling Friends.
Okay.
Our friends Zach Hadel and Michael Cusack. And it's
very cool.
A lot of it started from them just knowing people, being able to get a pitch Bible and just be able to do it. And now they have their show. It's released on HBO Max.
And there you go. That's awesome. It's a great story, because you sit in your room and you doodle all the time. You guys are like me. You draw all 24 hours a day. But then you're getting an opportunity for someone to say, hey, do you have any show ideas? I just so happen to have one. And then, I always encourage people to be ready at all times because you never know when the opportunity is going to come.
I think that being able to be in the industry and know as much as you can to make that your learning experience to develop something that will give you a better outcome of your work.
Right.
It's a better way of going about it.
Totally. And just, learn as many skills as you can right now. Like while you're doing storyboards or you're doing writing or whatever it is you're doing, maybe move from storyboards and go do character design and go learn how to do layouts.
Dabble in all.
Yeah, because there's going to be a day when they don't need a storyboard artist anymore, but they do need a background designer. So you can jump in on that.
But also, if you're going to be making your own show, you're going to want to be able to put your hands in everything or be able to do everything.
Especially because people are going to drop the ball too sometimes. I mean, not that they do all the time, but on occasion, there was a story on Danny Phantom where all the storyboard artists got 6 weeks to do a storyboard. It was 11 minutes. Danny Phantom was in 2 acts, Act 1, Act 2. So Act 1, you get 6 weeks. Act 2, you get 6 weeks. The Act 1 guy, after like almost 6 weeks, there was like a day left. He calls us and says, oh, something horrible's happened. Someone stole my storyboard. We're like, stole your storyboard? He goes, I dropped it off at the front desk and someone took it. And we're like, he didn't do it. He basically hadn't done the work. So I had to jump in and do a whole Danny Phantom storyboard.
Wow.
And I extended we had to extend the schedule. I got to have like 5 days to do this whole first act.
Like an 11-minute episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Danny Phantom was 22 minutes, wasn't it?
As a whole, right? For two episodes, right? 11 minutes each? Or was it?
Yeah, Danny Phantom, Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom were each 11. Danny Phantom was a half-hour show, one story. But it broke up into 2 acts.
Oh, okay.
So the first act was not done, and so I didn't do that. But anyway, my point is, know how to do that stuff. So when trouble rears its ugly head, you can jump right in. Yeah.
So with Danny Phantom, are we going to see Danny Phantom again? Are you going to be involved in the future?
I will say this: Nick is doing a lot of reboots now. So wouldn't it be nice to have Danny Phantom rebooted? I think that would be awesome. I would love that. I wrote a live action Danny Phantom script back in 2014. They asked me to write a script, and I wrote it with another guy, and I think it's great. Of course, you always think, in this case, I do think it's a good origin story.
It's an origin story.
What's the origin of Danny Phantom? Yeah, it's an origin. Then we get into an adventure, but it's really cool. But it hasn't been made yet. But I would love to see them make that, or maybe have someone else write another one. But I'd love to see it live action. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, you were speaking of reboots. One of those we know now is the Fairly OddParents live action reboot that's coming out.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, how much involvement do you have in that?
I have a lot of involvement actually. When they approached me about the live action show, they basically said, we'd love you to be involved, but we are getting a whole new crew in. And I'm like, great, because it's a live action crew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do a lot of live action, so I get to read the scripts and I get to have a little bit of input on the story and stuff. And to be quite honest with you, I don't have as much time to work on that as I would like. So they have an amazing crew doing it, and it's really turning out fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, I really love the way it looks. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think it looks really cool.
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah, we are looking forward to it.
And the showrunner is really funny, and the scripts, I think the scripts came out really well. I'm very pleased with them. So, yeah, I don't have nearly as much to do with it as I would if it was like an animated show.
Yeah.
But I'm just really happy with the crew that they have. I think it's great.
The Butch Hartman seal of approval.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
and obviously, writing for live action is a lot different than writing for animation. Like, would you say that the style of the show is much different? Like, it's going in a new direction with it while still keeping the things you love?
It's challenging in a way with live action, because we did all those live action Fairly OddParents movies. I don't know if you've seen those.
I have.
Yeah.
Grow Up Timmy Turner, we did Fairly Odd Christmas and Fairly Odd Summer. So we did 3 live action films with Drake Bell, where we had animated characters in them. And yeah, it is a little challenging, because if Timmy wishes for an elephant, you can't just draw an elephant and have it be there. You have to go find an elephant and rent it and bring it in.
Paint it pink.
You have to get the pirate ship for the opening of that movie and put it in the room.
That pirate ship scene in the very first movie was our epic money shot. Because
really?
they built this whole big front of this ship.
That whole set looked amazing.
And when we had to, then there came the moment to have it crash through the wall.
Yeah.
And it was like, imagine like being in a room like this. And they said, they took 12 hours to set this thing up.
Wow.
We shot it like at 2 a.m. And it was and they only had one chance to get it to break through the wall, because otherwise they'd have to
then you have to
rebuild
redo everything. Yeah.
So they had like 15 cameras on it, and they had like everybody knows exactly what they're doing, and then action, and boom, it just came through. So that's stuff like that is awesome, but it's a lot
It's so
harder
much
to
setup.
do in live action.
Yeah,
At
so
least
much
for the
setup.
third one, you got to take a nice trip to like a beach area.
Hawaii.
Hawaii, that's what it was.
The
Yeah.
story behind that was we did the Fairly Odd Christmas movie, and we shot it on the top of a mountain in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah.
Freezing cold. It was like so cold every day. And because it was the North Pole.
Yeah.
And so we had little kids in like elf costumes and all this. These poor kids were freezing. And I'm like sitting, I think it was like day 10 up in the snow. I'm like, okay, if we get a third movie, we're going to Hawaii. And everybody laughs like that. And then about 3 months later, they're like, hey, we're doing another movie. And I went, fade in Hawaii. That was really cool. We got to go to Hawaii.
Oh,
You
wow.
have cameos in all those too, didn't you? You like get like a Stan Lee kind of.
There's a Butch Hartman Stanley cameo in every one of those movies.
Yeah.
Expect another one?
I would hope so.
Oh.
I would hope so. There's some really cool surprises you'll see on the new Fairly Odd live show. I
look
can't.
forward to
I'm
it.
so
that.
eager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be really cool. It'll be really cool.
So what are your goals for this year? For 2022?
Well, this awesome interview is one right there. So there
Great
you
way
go,
to start
right?
off.
Starting it off strong, yeah.
Yeah, starting off strong. Yeah, check the box. No, I am going to. We have another project my wife and I are working on right now. We're real excited about. Not revealing it yet, but it's real exciting. And
Stay
I'll
tuned.
show after we're done filming. I'll show you guys.
Oh wow.
But and I will be announcing it soon. But working on something animated, which is cool.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's pretty much taking up a lot of my time right now. And since leaving Nick, I did Hobby Kids Adventures.
Yes.
I did that, which is on YouTube. You can check that out. And then I also did we did Hobby Kids, and then we're doing the new Fairly OddParents show. So doing that. So that's taking up a lot of time for now. And but this new project is taking up some time that I'm real excited about too.
Ooh.
There's also I'm just kind of looking at the logo for it right now. Oaxis, you're also making a streaming service, right?
I am. Well, yeah, we're definitely on the road to building this awesome streaming service, and it's so big that when I started it, I was like, I'm doing this, and we're still doing it, but it's like now I'm having to involve even more people than I thought I was going to have to. But it's a great way to learn how Hollywood works and how
Interesting.
the entertainment industry works. And I'm real excited about it because I really want to create a place where great family entertainment can live, for a long, long time.
Seemed like that was very much your foundation, is just family entertainment.
Totally, because I grew up on it, and especially when you have children, my girls, 20 years ago, but trying to find something for them to watch back then was hard. It's even harder now, I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to make a place. Not that everything's not family friendly, but I don't mind a little edge here and there, but it's like look, I want to at least find a place where you can go watch watch things with your family, not worry about what your kids are going to see or you're going to see, and have people have a great time.
Yeah.
That's great.
Something that everyone can enjoy.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm just so excited.
It's
and
kind of
happy.
surreal, yeah.
I know it is.
What is so surreal?
We enjoy your work so much.
Oh,
We've
that's so
spent
kind.
hours just gushing.
Literally, like at
You
least
guys are
once
awesome.
in a week, we put on the
We'll put on.
Father Time episode.
That is our favorite episode.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
Oh, that
That
was
and
one.
Channel Chasers.
Yes.
School, let me school.
But yeah,
Okay, yeah, so that
But a single episode, it's Father Time. I love that one.
Oh, that's right. That was one of our first original 60.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah, we did Nickelodeon when they first bought the show. They bought what was called a 6-pack. They bought 6 half hours from me, which is basically almost nothing. But I knew I could tell 2 stories each, so I had 12 stories. And Father Time was one of those original.
Yeah, that was
12.
part of a partnership, which is also one of our favorites.
That is also one of my
You have
favorites.
to-
There's I'm so curious about this. There's a sound effect where when Cosmo goes back to his mother for the first time, she goes, "That Wanda girl," and she like shakes her hands. It's like the shaking sound effect.
We noticed
And
that
we
every
noticed
once in a
it.
while in an episode, a character will like do this with
Do
their
this,
hands,
and
and you
it's
hear
that
like this weird.
shaking
Does
sound
it go
effect.
like?
Yes.
Yes!
Okay.
That is it!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I didn't do that with my mouth on the show.
Okay.
It's sort of a I think it's like a rattling sound.
Yeah.
like a bone rattling sound.
Or you could melt it with heat vision.
Well, as long as you weren't out getting married to that Wonder girl.
I love
and
it.
you caught that.
It's such an impact.
Oh wow, yeah. It's interesting. I just love the fact you guys are so young and you love the show so much. It means a lot to me. But like this goes to show you that your work is going to impact somebody. No matter what you work on or who you work with, your work is going to impact somebody. That's like, part of the reason for OAxis is I know that my work's going to affect people in the future, and I want it to be a positive.
Oh, and it totally
Definitely.
has.
Amen. Well,
Fairly OddParents really gave me my love for really character-driven shows where at the end of the day, it's all about the relationship between Cosmo, Wanda, and Timmy. That's my favorite thing about it. I love all the relationships. The way Cosmo and Wanda, like
how they love each
like
other.
Hopeless romantics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, what's cool about that, and I'm so glad you said that, because when we first started doing the show, they were like, they asked me, do you want to spend all your money on animation? I said, no. They said, what do you mean? I just want the best animation. I said, well, I want good animation, of course, but I really want great writers. I want to get some of the best writers, and I want to make some of the best stories, because if it's not a good story, nobody's going to care.
Yeah, it can look beautiful if the story's flat.
How many CGI movies have you seen? Like when Toy Story came out, Toy Story was great, but it wasn't great because it was CGI. It was great because it was a great story.
Yeah.
And how many bad movies are there out there?
So many.
So many,
just
right?
all CG, everything.
Oh, and they look amazing.
Yeah, visually.
You can even point to like the most recent Star Wars films. I mean, some people like them. I'm not a huge fan of the most
I'm a
recent
Star Trek person.
Well, exactly. But the Star Wars movies, they look like the old Star Wars movies, but they don't have the same vibe. You know what I
they
mean?
don't.
So it's all in the hands of the storyteller.
There's so many subtle things in like your Oh Yeah cartoons, like the beginning, like the season 0, I guess you would say. Those early, there's so many little quips that Cosmo and Wanda have with one another that really just show their interest and like love towards one another.
Amen. Well, you know what's cool about that? I really had it was a great little window there of time, late 90s, all through the 2000s, where they would basically, if the show was doing well, they would just keep it going.
Yeah.
Now they give you, like, they tell you up front, you're getting 3 seasons, that's it, and then people are done. A lot of shows don't get to last as long as Fairly OddParents or like SpongeBob, which is still going, by the way.
Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah, SpongeBob's a great show, but like there's not a ton of shows that get that much time anymore.
Yeah.
I hope there will be some, but Fairly OddParents, I was really allowed to explore those characters a lot and build that world.
Oh, and it's great.
Like Doug Dimmadome and Chip Skylark and the Crimson Chin.
Oh my God. Mark.
Mark Shea. Hey, Jim,
I love him.
Kitty Humans. Yeah. And I got to do Chet You Betcha.
Yes.
And,
and his daughter, You Bet You Betcha.
Oh yes. I think it was Yvette You Betcha.
Yvette You Betcha. That's what it was.
Yeah, and then we had my daughter Carly, when she was real little. She goes, Daddy, I knew who Wanda's sister could be. And I went, who? She goes, Blonda. And I went,
oh my God, I
went, that's hilarious. I said, we gotta come up with a story for Blonda.
That's right.
And Blonda was voiced by, no one really knows this now, but it was voiced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Really?
Yeah, because
wow.
Originally, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she was a friend of someone at Nickelodeon. This is 20 years ago, but she didn't want credit because she basically was doing it for free. Oh. And she said, I just don't want credit. I'll just do it for my friend, whoever worked at Nickelodeon. And we had her in there. We did some shows with her, and it was great.
That's great. You got a lot of like celebrity cameos in Fairly OddParents. Like Jay Leno was the Crimson Chin,
Sure.
And then
Adam West,
Norm Macdonald.
Oh yeah, Norm Macdonald is Norm.
The genie.
Yep. So yeah, we had Adam West, who was one of my childhood heroes. Just did a great job. I met him on Johnny Bravo.
Oh really?
Yeah, because he did himself as Adam West. And then I remember Seth and I were like, well, I'm going to put him in my show. So I got to put him in my show as Catman, and which was so. Catman's a great character. I love
Catman.
I love the episode where the Mr. Seal pageant.
The Mr. Seal. Yeah,
I love that one.
Hey, Timmy, see you in 3 days. Yeah, that's really funny. And then Norm Macdonald, the great Norm Macdonald, as Norm the Genie. We didn't know that was going to happen either. We're like, we had this great story idea where Timmy, a kid with fairies, finds a lamp with a genie in it. But he doesn't care because he's got fairies. Yeah. And the genie's like, hey, you get 3 wishes.
Rule free.
Yeah, rule free. And then we're like, who could do this jerk genie? And we're like, what about Norm Macdonald?
He's got such a sarcastic straight way.
Oh, he was so great.
I know,
he was
brilliant.
So great to work with. And then obviously Jay Leno came in as Crimson Chin, which was so much fun.
Yeah, and there was Chip Skylark.
Oh yeah, the guy from Backstreet Boys.
Yes. No, he was from NSYNC.
NSYNC.
Chris Kirkpatrick, who is just a great dude. He came in because NSYNC was the biggest thing in the world back then. And we recorded that episode in 2001, like July of 2001.
Wow, right in the peak
of NSYNC.
Wow.
And I'm like, we gotta get a boy band singer. I said, can we get any of the NSYNC guys? They're like, I think we can. And then we got Chris Kirkpatrick, who was the nicest dude. He came in, and we written this song for him, the Shiny Teeth song. And that came out of nowhere because we had done the Boys in the Band episode where Vicky abducts Chip in chains, right? And that's where he sings Icky Vicky. Yeah. But I'm like, on the radio at the beginning of that episode, when I think Timmy wakes up, now here's Chip Skylark with his new song, My Shiny Teeth and Me. Yeah. It was just a stupid title we threw out there. And then we were going to do another Chip episode. I'm like, we got to do that Shiny Teeth song.
And you also did Find Your Voice. I love that.
Oh, yeah,
one,
I
too.
love
That's a
that
good
song
song
too,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We had a great time. That's not as popular as Shiny Teeth, but Shiny.
Just as much.
But Find Your Voice has, I think, better visuals.
Oh yeah,
I
thank
love
you.
that about Schools of Music. Every time you guys did a song, I love that, you know, the choreography.
Oh, yeah.
You guys really went all out with the storyboarding, you know?
Yeah, we really worked hard on that. I boarded all the Chip Skylark songs, and we had some great board artists do all those. For the Schools Out musical, we had some great people do all that stuff too. I was very into having songs in the show because when I grew up, like I love, Flintstones, beat the Flintstones, and they had songs in that show. They had songs in the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo has songs all over it.
Yeah.
All the Hanna-Barbera stuff. So I'm like, I gotta have songs in my show. So I'm just glad we got to do that.
So, did you have any experience with music prior to doing like the Schools Out musical or being involved with a lot of these songs?
The only thing I had done, I guess professionally at that time, were the theme songs for my shows. I'd written a theme song for Fairly OddParents because I made a vow to myself, if I ever get my own show, I'm writing a theme song. So I wrote the theme song for Fairly OddParents, and then I wrote a theme song for Danny Phantom as well.
Oh, both great.
Oh, thank you. But other than that, not really a ton of experience. And then we're like, let's do a musical. And so again, Steve Marmel, my co-writer, we're like, we need 13 songs, let's just do it. So we started just coming up, we'd have, every lunch we'd sit there writing rhymes. What rhymes with ketchup bottle? What rhymes with check please, or whatever. Like the song about the Pixies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, and since the 1960s, we got to put that in there. And that actually changed the story.
I was going to say, that really makes a story for Flappy Bob.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, 1960s? That means he had to be born in the 60s? Okay, that actually informed the story.
40 years.
Yeah.
So that was like, we got to keep this really, really, keep the continuity. So.
Yeah. To change topics, I got to ask about this in case I forget. The Jimmy Timmy Power Hours. One of my favorite of all time. As a kid, that's what got me into art. Was I would watch the Jimmy Timmy Power Hours and I'd pause the TV and I'd like draw the poses that the characters were in.
Oh, very cool.
How much? Because obviously you have to collaborate with another show and they get their whole like group of staff and artists. And how much was the involvement you had in shared with the Jimmy Neutron staff?
Oh, tons of involvement. What was cool about that, again, this little window I was in, and a lot of us were in at the time, the 2000s basically, early 2000s. Like there was SpongeBob over here in the building. There was Dora the Explorer over here. There was Fairly OddParents. There was Danny Phantom, and then there was Jimmy Neutron in the same building, all at the same time. Oh, wow! And so me and the Jimmy Neutron guys, we'd all just pass each other in the hallway. What's how you guys doing? Because everybody was so busy, we really had no time to hang out at all. Yeah. But we'd see each other in the hallway, and we're like, we really should do something together. Because you got a character named Jimmy, I got a character named Timmy. They're both 10.
Science and magic.
Yeah, Jimmy's into science, he's into magic. I mean, what are we, idiots? We have to do this. And so we just kind of started talking, and when they threw it by the network, they're like, we should do that. And that's kind of how it happened. And so basically we all sat in a room just like this. Fairly OddParents writers over here and the Jimmy Neutron writers over here.
Wow.
And you're just kind of going, okay, what could the story be? And I said, well, we're gonna have to make it to where it's special. Like, you can't just make an episode of Fairly OddParents and Jimmy Neutron tied together. Yeah. They got to and we kind of came up, all of us together, with the idea like crossing worlds. Like, Timmy should go to Jimmy's world, and Jimmy should go to Timmy's world. Like, oh, that's cool.
That just blew my mind as a kid.
Yeah, and Timmy has 5 fingers in the other world.
Yeah, he does. Oh.
5 fingers, freak show.
I love the joke where Jimmy's like, my dip, and he falls back. He's like,
funk. That was a really funny idea. And then the second one we did, we brought Jorgen in, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Is Jorgen in the second one?
Jorgen's in the third.
No, he's in the second one. Him and Professor Calamitous there.
That's right.
Like fused together.
Yeah, they come in.
Because the anti-fairies are in that one. Because Calamitous teams up with Anti-Cosmo. And then he like double crosses him in the second one. Yeah, and then Jorgen they get locked in the jail cell together. So
yes, of course, they fuse together.
And then the third one's about the jerking eater.
Right.
I forget his name. You give him like a dumb name.
Oh, they give him like a girl's
Shirley,
name.
That's what it is.
Oh, Shirley. I am Shirley. Yeah.
And everybody makes fun of him because his name is Shirley.
That's
right?
another
They laugh
celebrity.
at him.
Gosh. Oh, wait, that was Jeff Garland.
Yes.
Oh.
Jeff Garland. Yeah, that's
right.
Now that you say that, yeah, it's been so long since I've seen that. Boy, oh boy. But I'm glad you guys liked it.
I loved it.
Adored it.
And you like Channel Chasers too.
Oh,
the ending to Channel Chasers as a kid.
Oh,
when Timmy opens up the lunchbox.
And he sees the picture.
No Cosmo and aren't there. That's so sad.
I know, and he has no idea.
Yeah.
That was a dream for me to do because I got to do every cartoon I grew up with and put it in that episode.
They had Jetsons, Flintstones, Scooby-Doo.
Rudolph
Blue's
Red-Nosed
Clues.
Reindeer, Johnny Quest, you know, Tom and Jerry,
Oh,
Peanuts.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
Simpsons. We did Rugrats. We did, what else did we do in there? Speed Racer.
Oh yeah,
We
and
did
then
Speed Racer.
Dragon Ball.
Ninja Turtles, but they're like cows.
They were the Karate Cows.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and then we did
Dragon Ball.
Mahamushi was at the end.
Yeah.
There's Pokemon, and then there was the Dragon Ball one
The
too.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the last, the final fight.
I love.
And then we had Sesame Street. We had Sesame
That's
Street.
right. Those
They
puppets.
go through
They
that. I
come
love
by.
when they get launched through the TV and you can see like the line.
You see the hand pull the.
Yeah,
That was
puppet.
kind of cool. It was like the when we shot that scene with the TV, we had like a physical TV like this one back here, and we had like 20 screens, 20 paper screens. So we had 20 takes we could do, and I was off stage like throwing the puppet through the screen, and I missed like 12 times. So I kept going there. And
Oh.
finally got it in there. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun. I had those puppets, the Sesame Street, Timmy Turner,
Oh really?
Cosmo. I had them for the longest time, and then
What
finally
happened to them?
they just kind of rotted away.
Oh.
After like 12 years, they just
Yeah.
the glue fell off.
It's very hard to keep those.
And there was, and I believe me, I saved too many things. I have too much merchandise and too many keepsakes from all those years.
It's great though. Like all.
Yeah, it is. It's like a wonder to look at everywhere.
Oh, thank you. This is such a minor amount. There's so much more.
I love. There's a video on your channel where you look through the Fairly OddParents cells.
Yeah.
I love
Oh.
looking at that. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I want to buy. I see them on eBay. I want to buy Fairly
Oh,
OddParents
I
cells.
got.
So bad.
I have boxes of them in a hidden location.
Oh wow.
So yeah, but no, I really love obviously collecting other stuff. But just from your own show, you got to keep some stuff.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Not many people can get merchandise made of this.
Well, we were like, they animated Fairly OddParents and Danny Phantom over in Korea. That's where all the animation was done. All the pre-production was done here.
Yeah.
But it's so much cheaper to do it overseas.
Yeah.
I didn't set the system up. It was I've done
That is just how. Yeah,
That's
Dexter's
how-
Lab did the same thing.
same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of cartoons do that because everything's digital now. You don't really have to do that. But they were like at the end of the season, they're like, "You want some of this animation?" They're just going to throw it away. I'd be like, "Yeah, send me as much
They
as you
just
can."
throw it away.
Well, they don't have room for
That's
it.
true,
These
yeah.
guys are doing hundreds of shows, thousands of scenes.
Yeah, boxes and boxes.
And
of
you're talking
cells.
exactly, you're talking
Yeah.
boxes. I remember when we first started, because before you'd put your animation and your timing sheets and your model sheets all in boxes and ship them to Korea on physical boxes on a plane. I remember the first day they said, "We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to actually send it over the internet." And I was like, "Wait a second. This is crazy time travel stuff." And they showed us how that was going to work. And it's like in 2000. You're like, "What?"
Yeah, that's
the
like.
push a button and it just goes. You're kidding.
Oh,
Yeah.
internet.
Oh, internet, exactly.
I love that.
That's silly. You should call it the Timmy.
I love it. I love it because I'm just looking for a new trophy on the Timmy Computer Network.
And the Timmy Computer Network. Oh, Timmy.
That is one of my favorite episodes.
Dad's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, me too.
Timmy's
That's
dad.
why we love that episode. I like
That is. It's because it's you learn about his dad and how much he feels bad that he hurt his dad because he melted his.
I love those
trophy.
episodes between Timmy and his dad. Like Superbike is another one of my favorites.
Yes. Oh,
That's OG. That's old school. That's
Yeah.
an original one. One of my favorites is Added Dad. You ever see that one? Where Timmy
Sounds
wishes
familiar.
he could spend more time with his dad. So it was just like 100 dads.
oh yeah.
And
I
he's
do
got-
remember that one.
That's a really funny one. And what's another one with Dad? Oh, Operation Dinkelberg. You seen that one? Where he thinks Dinkelberg's evil. So Dinkelberg, they actually sneak into Dinkelberg's house and find out that he actually is truly evil. So Dad was right. He's like, oh, but Dad's terrified and he runs away. And Dinkelberg's got like this supervillain outfit on. And he goes,
Yeah.
Wow, Mr. Dinkelberg, I didn't know you were evil. He goes, oh, Timmy, I'm not really evil, but I knew how much it meant to your dad to think I was evil. So I've been pretending all this time.
I love the relationship with Timmy's dad and Dinkelberg.
Oh, so funny.
Or just the parents' relationship in general. They just love each other. You know, she uses these like death trap inventions he makes for her just because she loves him and wants him to feel special.
So when in a partnership, when she like eats the table, he's like, "I
Oh,
love your
yeah.
mom, but I can wait."
But I can wait.
But I can wait.
I love that so much. Oh,
Yeah, that was one of our original ones. Yeah,
those early seasons are my absolute favorite.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
People would always say, I can't believe what's changed the show so much as the seasons went on. It's like, well, I didn't change the show, but Nickelodeon would come to me and say, hey, in order for us to pick the show up, something special has to happen. And we're like, all right. I go, what if we have a baby? That's where Poof came from. And then,
that makes sense.
Then 2 seasons later, we need something special to happen. Okay, what if Timmy got a pet? Okay, so...
That one's a lot more episodes. Like, because with Poof, you got out in Anti-Poof, he became like one of the main characters. After
Oh,
a while.
Foop's
Or
one of my
Poof,
favorite.
yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Foop became one of my favorite characters too.
Yeah.
Hello, Tina. You know, he was such a great character. But and then we brought Sparky in as the dog, and you know, people were like, "I don't like Sparky." It's like, well, I think he's really funny, and we had a great
I
time
like his
doing
design.
it.
I think it's adorable.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but in order to keep a show going that long, you are really, people don't realize that the network is saying, hey, we want to keep making this show, but
we need more.
We need more fresh things. So then we added Chloe in because they really
That's
came to us and said, we want to have a girl character that's a foil for Timmy in the show. That's not Vicky. And we're like, okay, we can do that. Because it means people stay employed though.
Yeah.
We talked about how it was on cells originally, and that they'd be shipped out to, or Korea would be, or Japan would animate them.
Right.
So when did that transition happen for rigged animations?
Fairly OddParents never did Flash animation except for the last season.
I think it was like halfway through season 10.
I think it was about halfway through because they weren't going to pick the show up anymore. And I said, well, we can do it cheaper if we do it Flash. Again, this is like 2016 now, right? So not a ton of shows were Flash at that time. A lot were. But Fairly OddParents has always been traditionally hand animated.
Yeah.
And finally said, okay. And the same studio that did Bunsen as a Beast animated that last season of Fairly OddParents.
That's right. She did the crossover with Bunsen as a Beast.
Yes,
That's right.
we did the crossover with Bunsen as a Beast, which I thought was great. We had a good time doing that. And that's why they had all the Fairly OddParents model. They were George Eliot Animation in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, okay.
And they did such an amazing job. There's such great, talented people there. And we actually went to go visit them to see if they could do Bunsen. And we interviewed a bunch of studios. We finally ended on George Eliot going, this guy is great. We can use his studio. And we wanted them for Bunsen. We got in the van to leave to go back to the hotel. And I went, I bet that guy could do Fairly OddParents too. And everybody turned around and looked at me and they're like, I bet he could too. So we were able to do another season of Fairly OddParents.
Wow.
Simply because we were able to do it cheaper.
Nice.
Yeah, because rigged animation obviously takes a lot less time.
It does, but it does limit your writing.
Yes.
Because you can't do as many costume changes.
It's not as much squash and stretch to
It's
the
like
animation.
CG every time something new is. You have to like model it.
You do, and you have to build it. You have to build. But the cool thing is, once you build a character, it's there forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't depend on the artist's talent. You know,
Yeah.
it's there forever.
On
But
board.
if I want, Mikey and Bunsen to go underwater and give them like deep sea diving suits, can't do it. Or maybe I can, but that's the one costume change I get.
Oh, you
Yeah.
only get one costume change.
Or it goes
That-
into budget to make
Oh,
sure.
that's right. That's right.
It's a budget you get one costume change, so that limits your writing, and that's why going back to that Jimmy Neutron episode you talked about that I wrote years ago.
Yeah.
They asked us to write it because they really love Fairly OddParents. Can you guys write a Jimmy Neutron episode? I said sure. So I co-wrote this episode where Jimmy gets these speed shoes. And he goes through time, he goes around the world, he's stopping all these places. And then the show came out and I went, he doesn't do anything. He just kind of runs against a blurry background.
Yeah.
Because he's running really fast. They're like, we can't build all those sets.
Yeah.
I went,
Oh.
you can't. Actually, you can't go to Paris. You can go. I think he stopped in like one spot or something. I forget how
Yeah.
that worked out.
Because he gets stuck running.
Yes, and he's stuck in like a time warp or something.
Yeah.
So they ended up fixing it to their genius brilliance. They did a great job. But I was like, that was a learning experience for me. Oh, I just can't do anything I want all the time. You have to,
I love noticing that about the crossovers. That every crossover they had like one new model. Like for the first one, it was Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda, and the second one they added in the Jorgen model, obviously, and the third one I think they added in Edgy and Chester.
Yeah.
So they got
we
like.
did, and we had Crocker too. I think was Crocker in one of them?
I'm not.
Jimmy Timmy Power Hour? I forgot.
I think he has a he has a cameo.
The
Definitely
audience
because
right now
they-
is screaming at the camera.
I know,
They're
right?
like, hey, you dummies, don't you know?
I know for a fact they go into Crocker's lair at some point.
They do,
Timmy
'cause
wants
he needs to
convince everyone
get-
that he's a genius.
Oh,
No, wait.
Crocker Cave.
Doesn't he go into AJ's lab?
He goes into both, I think.
Oh, you're okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, what it is because they have to go to Fairy World, I think. So
And he has to
Crocker
find the
portal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. He has
Yeah.
the portal to it.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a great time doing those. We got to do so many great things. We got to have Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from Kiss came to do the Wishology. And that was a
incredible.
challenge. The network came to me. They're like, okay, we want to do a 3-hour Fairly OddParents movie. I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, it's gonna be in 3 parts, an hour, an hour, and an hour. Go. And I'm like,
How much was the time? How much time did you have for it?
we had, I think about a year,
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
which is not a lot of time.
No.
Now you look at the schedule, like, oh my gosh, it's December. By next December, but you've got to write an hour-long episode.
3-hour-long episode.
3-hour-long episodes, yeah, that all tie together, that all make sense at the end and are super entertaining all the way through. And so that was like, wow, what are we gonna do?
Not including the products you have to make, the character designs, all the other things that you have to factor in
You have to
for
make
the
like-
episode.
Like bigger, like 3 hours. You have to make such
Yeah.
a such a grander story.
Yeah, it was, because they wanted to run it on like a Friday night, a Saturday night, and a Sunday night, and all. This was before streaming services, so people would actually watch TV.
I'd have to wait every time.
And I like that aspect, having to wait for something.
I do too, because there's an anticipation. Yes.
Yeah, builds it, right.
I feel like a lot of shows nowadays, whenever they come out on Netflix, will like drop all the episodes at once. So you watch it in a night, and then after that, it's kind of like, oh, it's done.
Yeah.
They want. I mean, and I can see. There's things about that are great too. I do like seeing and having access to the entire season.
Oh, yeah,
But on occasion, it's like sometimes it's nice to wait.
That build up is good though.
It depends, yeah. I remember when they do. Remember the show Lost?
Oh yeah.
Lost. I would watch. I mean, I watched every episode of Lost, and I was like, "This is gonna have the greatest ending of all time."
Or Sopranos.
Sopranos too.
I thought that. I remember. I thought that like our power went out when I saw the ending of Sopranos. Like I thought
because it went to black.
Because it went to black for like a minute.
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
What just happened?
What?
And then the credits came up, and you're like,
you feel gypped.
Yeah.
You feel so gypped. Oh.
But then you get into it going, wait, maybe it's a really smart ending. Maybe I'm just not smart enough to figure it out.
Every time I have those moments where I think that, I'm always like, no, I was gypped. I can't help but feel that way.
Exactly,
That's great.
I know. Oh, we're so happy that you took the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us.
Well, you guys are welcome. Any more questions? We have time for a couple more, probably.
Any other questions that you had in mind?
I think we mostly asked everything.
asked
You're going to drive
everything.
away from here now and go like,
And
I
go,
should have asked him this. Why didn't I ask this?
Don't do that shaky hand thing.
I think exactly. Right. I'll ask you a question. Who's your favorite Fairly OddParents character? Do you have a favorite one? One of the top 5.
Top 5? It's the most generic answer, but I love Timmy. I love Timmy. Like the real innocence to him. I love in season 0 when he's kind of like an ass at times. See,
Timmy's a total selfish.
He first meets Cosmo and Wanda, and they're like, "What do you think, Timmy?" He's like, "I think I'm calling the cops."
I think I'm calling the cops. You guys are insane. Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
And who's your favorite character?
Flappy Bob.
No way!
I love Flappy Bob.
Bob's your favorite character?
He has the saddest story.
Oh,
he has the saddest story. He gets his whole child and everything taken away from him.
By the Pixies. I know.
And he has the best songs, and then he has the best ending. He realizes what fun really is, and he gets reunited with his parents.
And he gets to sing.
Yeah, and he gets to sing.
I love the song. Like how the little rocket leaves the circus train and lands.
And just lands
like he's Superman.
But it just crashes immediately. And the dad's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that."
Yeah, the tree and there's actually a real.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're not actually going off the tracks; they go off.
So Flappy Bob and Timmy. Wow, that's interesting. That's great. That's great.
You wouldn't expect it.
Oh no, I love it though. I think it's great, and the fact that there's some Flappy Bob appreciation out there.
Oh yeah, you did a drawing of Flappy Bob and it. Where it's them like next to each other.
Yeah,
I love that drawing.
I did one of, I think I did one of him and the Joker too. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah.
You know, we live in a society or something like that.
You did Crocker and Five Nights at Freddy's. I love that one.
Oh, yeah.
That one too. Yeah.
I love all the drawings you make on TikTok. They're just fun.
You.
They're fun mashups, or they're
recently
fun
did Silver the Hedgehog. We were watching that.
Oh yeah, we were watching that.
I did that. Yeah, I just did Silver the Hedgehog. I just released one. By the time this comes out, it'll be a while. But I did Sonic the Hedgehog and the Danny Phantom style.
Oh really?
Really? I have to check it out. Yeah.
I like that. There's so many great people on TikTok because they give me these great suggestions. Can you can you use Spider-Man in the Fairly OddParents style? I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I can do that. It doesn't take too long. So I would color all my drawings on TikTok. I just don't have time to color them, but I love doing them pen and ink.
What kind of color markers do you use?
If I use actual markers, I use Copic markers.
That's what I use too.
But I love digital because you never run out of ink. Which is great.
Like on an iPad.
I have my iPad Pro that I work on all the time. That's what I work on constantly. I use Procreate. You guys use Procreate?
Oh yeah.
Procreate. And then Procreate does a million things, and I know how to do like 3 things.
You can animate on it.
I know,
it's
crazy.
but
I don't know how. I mean,
all it is, you just turn on the animation assist, and then from there, each layer is a frame.
Oh, I see.
And it shows you a timeline on the bottom.
And you can actually animate. Oh, that's
you can like scroll through it to see.
Gosh, that's so crazy.
I know, in the palm of your hands.
It's amazing. I know, and but I mean, all technology aside, always remember the story is the main thing. So if you guys can write great stories out there, you're going to entertain people for generations to come. So just remember that.
And I hope you know that you have.
Oh,
totally
awesome.
Inspired both of us.
I appreciate that. It means the world, guys. Thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. You're welcome.
I feel like I said, one of the biggest reasons why we bonded was watching Schools Out musical.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if I can bring 2 people together with cartoon fun, that's my job is done.
Oh, I'm sure you brought so many other people together too.
That's awesome. Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
you again for giving us your time.
You're welcome. We'll do a part 3 or 4 next time.
I'd love to. Maybe after the reboot comes out.
Oh, maybe you guys come back. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah.
You could tell us all the fun little things about it.
Yes, and the reason I'm doing this is because she reached out. So thanks for reaching out.
Of course. Thank you for giving me your time.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you guys all for watching, and please Follow Butch Hartman on TikTok. You'll get to see more of his art as well as his YouTube channel. And
All that
stay tuned for the new Fairly OddParents reboot. So long.